I'm gonna let y'all know I'm always gonna come on these videos looking the best. Okay, it's like 4 in the morning, and if I'm just being truly transparent, I just want to get some content out for y'all. I'm working on consistency, and I hope you guys are holding me accountable if you are watching these videos. Like, yeah, girl, where the videos at? Because you say you're gonna post. So making sure you post at least almost every single day. Like 7 days out of the week, I need at least 5 videos up. No BS. I'm even thinking maybe I would even start posting twice a day, but we gonna see. Okay, but we ain't even gonna, chit chat for too long. You already know from the title of this video we will be talking about how. So I noticed I said how to get over someone, and I really meant knowing when to break up with someone. That's what I really meant. After watching this video, I realized that's what I really touched on. Yeah, so let's resume. Let's just get right into it. Today our affirmations will be: I am stronger than my emotions and I will heal with time. Right? And that's a great affirmation, because when you are trying to get over someone or just trying to move on with your life, you have to be stronger than your emotions, because baby, nobody asks how you felt. Just being frankly honest. Like, you really have to be in a place where you're like, okay, I know I feel this way, but I know this. Like, your mind has to kind of override those feelings that you may be having that are keeping you stuck in a certain place or stuck with a certain person. So let's say the affirmation again, okay? I am stronger than my emotions and I will heal with time. Okay, so let's get right into it. So girl, what's going on? Or guy, I know I have a lot of men that watch my channel. Why we can't get over someone, and I'm not even about to sit here and talk from a place like I'm perfect. Like I can just get over someone and snap the finger. No. Sometimes when the connection is really that deep, it just do be that deep. Like, it just is what it is. But even I'll be fully transparent with y'all. I'm even in this space right now where I'm still, not that I'm trying to get over someone, but I'm, it's a person in my life that, I would want to keep in my life. I just don't know in which shape or form, right? And I even think like the matter of getting over someone, like maybe sometimes you don't ever have to like 100% get over a person. I mean, yes, get over them, of course, like in a way that you are attached to them emotionally or mentally. But if a relationship wouldn't work, but they have other positive attributes in other areas, well, then maybe you guys are meant to be in each other's lives. It's just not in a way that you would hope so, right? And so that's something that I'm currently learning. But when getting over someone, it is, like I said in the affirmation, right? It's just having your logic and your mindset being stronger than with your emotions and how you feel, right? Because sometimes you want to sit here and talk about how you feel when nobody asked you. What do you know, right? If you are dealing with a person who, who doesn't support you the way that you want them to, who isn't there for you the way that you want them to, who puts other people above you when that you're the one that's actually there for them. Sorry, I'm looking at the clock. But someone who, for whatever reason the relationship just doesn't fit, and maybe it doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship, maybe it's even a friendship, right? And like whatever reason that it may be, the relationship just doesn't work. It makes you feel something, and sometimes that's something within yourself you can't even fully explain what it is, right? It's just something that just doesn't sit right with you. Because I know sometimes, even for me, right, and let me know if you could relate, but I was in a relationship once, and how I knew, well, for the longest I would feel so sick. I would feel so sick, y'all, to the point where I couldn't eat. Like, everything I would eat, it would come up. I couldn't keep my food down. And this is not for like a week or two. This is like months, like at least 6-7 months that, I was just feeling very sick. I didn't want to eat. Like, I was just having all these stomach issues. And I would go to the doctor, and they even like looked inside my stomach and everything. And they were like, well, there's nothing wrong with you. Like doctors always say, but they were like, hey, like there's nothing wrong, like we don't see anything, we don't see any issues or anything that we should really be concerned about. And it's crazy because something had happened that made me really ask myself, like, is this how you want to feel? You know, and it wasn't like infidelity or anything, like, you know, being cheated on, or, you know, finding a third party or anything of the sort. Sometimes, you know, relationships just don't end because someone cheated, right? Like, someone could just be simply an unfit partner. Someone could just, you know, not be there for you the way that you would wish them to be there for you, and it makes you feel down. It makes you literally feel sick, and it makes you cry. It makes you feel consistently overwhelmed, and maybe you're in a situation that makes you feel, you know, triggered all the time, making you feel like you always have to be the crazy one, to act crazy. You always have something to address, right? That just, you know, it's high levels of stress. Like, maybe it's just a relationship that just consistently stresses you out. Maybe they're verbally abusive, or, you know, whatever it could be. Like, I was dealing with a person who was like always mean to me, I felt like. And I was just like, you know, looking back, I felt like I started to get mean too, but like really towards the end. But I felt like they were always like mean to me, and they didn't compliment me as much as I wanted them to. Like, they didn't admire me the way that I wanted them to, the way that I really needed them to. And I had to even say to myself, like, why do you need him to admire you, you know? And it wasn't, in a sense, like, because I'm used to being admired growing up, just being attractive from a female. I feel like that's what comes with it. But when you're dealing with a person, like, you want them to admire you too. Like, you don't care who else is admiring you. You want them to admire you. Like, if I send you pictures, you better amp me up, period, point blank, or these pictures are going somewhere else. I'm letting you know that right now. Okay. But maybe it's just like all these different things, right? And so you really have to ask yourself when you are feeling these things, right? Like, is this how you want to feel for another 8 months, another month, another 5 years, another, you know, however long you've been with the person, just double it. At the time, I was with the person for about 8 months, and I had to really ask myself, like, do you want to feel like this for the next 8 months? Do you want to feel like this for the next 30 days? Do you even want to feel like this for the next 5 minutes? And, you know, if you ever dealt with somebody before that you really, really did like, so I'm not gonna say I really love this person. I mean, I have love for them now, but more so like as a friend. But like at the time, I would consider myself just like really, really liking them. And just like really wanting it to work, because especially after spending 8 months with a person, spending time and, you know, being on the phone and this and that, you know, for whatever time being that it is, like, you want it to work at this point because you have invested so much of your time, your energy, and your emotions into this situation, you know? And, you know, I really had to ask myself and come into realization with myself and say, you know, is this what you want? Is this what you feel like you deserve? You know, and sometimes you really have to sit with yourself and ask yourself those questions and be truly transparent with yourself. Like, don't even just have it in your head. Put these questions down on a sheet of paper and answer them thoroughly. Point blank, period. Answer them thoroughly, even if you have to take it as far as like writing their name at the top and writing the pros and cons list, you know, to see. Sometimes it's all in your head, and sometimes you really need to see it on a sheet of paper, or maybe you need to talk to a friend to hear yourself, you know, or maybe you need to just talk to yourself and record it and then play it back, you know, like really get these feelings and these emotions, and, you know, however you're feeling, get these things out so that you can really understand where you are. And I really had to like really ask myself, like, is this really what you want? Because if not, you need to let him go. And I understand that you care about him. This is me talking to myself. Like, I understand that you care about him, and I understand like you want to see the best for him. And I understand that, you know, you have these feelings that you want this to work, and, you know, you can see this in the future and stuff like that. But I was like, but look at how you're feeling right now. Like, right now, at how you're feeling at this moment, right? Is this how you want to feel? Is this how you envision yourself feeling when you are dating someone, or when you're somebody's girlfriend, or if you're somebody's wife? Like, would you want a husband who's going to treat you this way? Would you want a boyfriend who's going to treat you this way? Would you even want your daughter to be with somebody, or your son who's going to be with somebody who's going to treat them this way? You know, and when you really start to get those answers out to yourself, you really start to understand, like, okay, what you need to do. And it's going to be hard to rip that Band-Aid off and to leave a person and to like really, really leave them, you know, and it might even take some time, right? Because like with the person, like, I had to basically be on some, like, oh, we're done. Like, I don't, like, as far as like us really being together, even though we weren't like in a committed relationship, but we were dating, dating to work towards a relationship, you know, to see if we even wanted one, right? And you know, I was just like we're done. Like that's gonna be it. And I'm not gonna lie to you. It wasn't like we were done and like we ain't talk forever and we stopped speaking and I stopped reaching out to him and I stopped, you know, calling him and venting, and you know, I was still doing those things. But I even think that's even the process of getting over someone, right? Because you can be doing those things but then also still doing you, you know, also, you know, just getting yourself together. Like you can still do those little things, just don't drag it and try to like really suck the person back in to like really be with them all over again, to where like you're only seeing that person and like you're verbally, you know, committing yourself to that person. But you know, sometimes it takes you like having to have talking to them all over again and just talking to them repetitively, you know, and just like still keeping that relationship. Because I feel like when you do that, when like you like, okay, like we're done but we're going to still keep in contact or whatever the case may be, right? And you really start to see that person for who they are, and you know, just like who they really are as a person. You really start to see the things that you like, the things that you don't like, and you go to yourself, you say, and that's why I wanted to stop dealing with you in the first place. And it helps you kind of like get over the person, right? Because I feel like sometimes even like when you break up with somebody, you can kind of like guilt trip yourself to going like, you know what, maybe I'm tripping. Like maybe, you know, like maybe they were a good person. Like I said, especially when, you know, other women weren't involved. It's like, well, he wasn't dealing with nobody else. So, you know, maybe, you know. But at the end of the day, like I said, like when you feel in a certain type of way that just makes you feel sick, okay, it's like, no, you have to kind of talk to that person to remind yourself like, okay, this is why you stop dealing with them, because look at what he just said. Like, ew, like nobody got time for that. And sometimes even too, like if a person is like really meant for you, whatever, I don't believe in I really personally don't believe in right person, wrong time, and I just don't believe in that. Okay, if we ain't work now, if we ain't work back then, we ain't never gonna work. Plain and simple. And that's why even with this particular person, even in my like just me being transparent, I'm like, okay, I know I want you in my life. I am, you know, I'm not like really emotionally attached or mentally attached to the person where I used to be. But I'm like, okay, I know I want you in my life because we're still in each other's lives, right? But I think we're in each other's lives in the wrong way. I think that's what it always was. Like, I think we started the wrong type of relationship that we should have had. And you can always change that as long as both parties are, you know, understanding of it. Because I've dated a guy before, you know, who I was like very attached to and everything, and I really liked and stuff. And when we fully got over each other and, you know, really took some time off and took some space, we started a new type of relationship that works perfectly fine for the both of us, right? And, you know, sometimes it takes you going through those trials and tribulations with a person, because sometimes, you know, like I said in the beginning of the video, it's not necessarily that you have to like cut a person off entirely. People have their positive attributes, you know. I feel like the guys I've dated personally, you know, like there's really nothing quote unquote wrong with them. They're just not meant for me. You know, and it doesn't mean that they're not meant to be in my life, because they have taught me so much things. Like, it's even as far as like reflecting and even as far as reflecting to myself and just even asking myself, like, why did you want to be with this person, right? Like, what made you attracted to this person in the first place? What made you feel the way that you felt inside when you met this person, right? Like, what made you feel this soul connection in the first place? Because for me, really, I'm a person that I have to feel something within me for me to even show any type of interest into a person. Like, I'm just not out here dating anybody willy-nilly, I promise you. Like, I have to really feel something like a soul calling that makes me be like, okay, let me see what this is about, you know? And so I really had to ask myself, like, where does these things stem from? Because I feel like a lot of them stem from trauma, which made me attracted to certain type of men. And I would have never known that if I didn't date them. So, you know, it is what it is. So like I said, like, it's not even the matter of like having to cut somebody off completely. It's the matter of like getting over them. And maybe if you still want them in your life because you feel like in some way, shape, or form they hold value as a person, then just find a different type of relationship to have with them, you know, where you're fully over them and you know you can actually be friends, or, you know, be acquaintance, and or maybe they're good at giving advice, or, you know, good at this or good at that. It could be 1,001 things. But yeah, like I said, like just asking yourself those questions and then coming to realization with yourself that, you know, a person may not be good for you mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever that it may be. And then, you know, just ripping that band-aid off and just going, hey, I'm done. You know, like, I don't want to be with you anymore. We can still speak, maybe still be in contact or whatever the case may be. Like I said, even in that process of getting over someone, you might even have to talk to them multiple times when you guys are no longer together to remind yourself, just even like on a friendship basis, but to remind yourself, like, this is why you didn't want to be with this person, you know? And sometimes even too, like, when you do that, you kind of get to see what they choose to do when they're no longer with you, right? And that was like a huge eye-opener to me with a guy that I dated once, you know, because sometimes like you would think that well, I know for me, I would sometimes think like, you know what, I think he just has me around because I'm pretty. Just being honest, like, I think he just has me around because I'm pretty. I don't think he actually really likes me. And then we part ways, and it's like, oh, he really liked you. It's just the going about how to express it. It's just going about, you know, and at the end of the day too, like, you can't take these things personal when people treat you a certain type of way, no matter what it is, because everyone is literally going through their own things, their own battles, their own trauma. People have their own backstory that they, you know, that they're coming from and stuff like that, that made them who they are, that made them seek out the women that they do and things of that nature. So you really can't take it personal at the end of the day. But like, sometimes I have to back away from a situation for me to realize how much a person was really even interested in me in the first place, you know. And that doesn't make me go back to them. It just make me go, okay, so it never really was me. Don't we love that? I was never the problem. You know, like, you have your own issues going on. You have your own things going on, which is why you can't express yourself a certain way. You can't be vulnerable in certain ways, in certain areas. That is something with you and God, okay? And maybe even your parents. But it was right for me to get out of this situation, because I would have continued letting your hurt me, taking it personally, and then coming back at you. Because like I said, right towards the end of my situation, I started to become mean as well to him, right? And I didn't want to be mean to him, but I felt like I had to, because he was being mean to me. But looking back at it, I'm like, he was being mean to you, not because he wanted to be mean to you, but because of whatever personal issues that he had going on. And so it's not your place to change who you are to stoop down to someone else's level. Well, you know you bigger than that, girl. Okay? So I hope you find value in this video. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope this video is not too long. And I always say that in the video be like 20 minutes long. That's still not too long. But like I said, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Just remember that affirmation for today. I am stronger than my emotions, and I will heal with time. Okay? Go out there, make me proud, and do you, girl. Okay? Because you're powerful, you're wonderful, you're amazing, and you are everything under the sun. Don't ever think that you're not. Don't ever let anyone convince you that you are not, because you are. Okay? Love you.